Bookcase and Coffee presents Buzzing About Romance, a quick shot of romance.
On this episode of A Quick Shot of Romance, I am joined by Heather, who is Minnesota Hockey Mom Reads on Instagram, and we are reviewing Hostile Territory by Marie James, which is book 1 in the Black Ridge Security series. Welcome back to the podcast, Heather.
Hey, Leah. Thanks for having me.
So Heather's going to read the synopsis from Goodreads.
Can you call someone an enemy if you haven't seen them for the better part of a decade? Deacon Black is perfectly content with the status quo. Work, sleep, repeat. Who cares if he's rigid, structured, and set in his ways? It's a job requirement that keeps his men safe and his company's doors open. One call is all it takes to upend his life and land him right back into a past he has tried to forget. Revisiting old ghosts is the last thing he needs, especially when the forced trip down memory lane includes the only woman he never wanted to see again. Annalise Grimaldi hit the jackpot with her life. From her trust fund to her best friend, she has it all. But her world comes crashing to a halt when her best friend vanishes, leaving behind an apartment in tatters and more questions than answers. There is only one person she can think of that can help in a situation like this. She hates to make the call, but there isn't a thing she wouldn't do to make sure her friend is found, even setting aside her hatred for Deacon Black. This book isn't on Kindle Unlimited, but at the time of the recording, it is free. I would go get it like today.
So
the release date, was June 25th of 2020. So
yes,
almost a year it's been out.
Almost, yeah. So this one's enemies to lovers, contemporary, and romantic suspense. It is not super heavy in romantic suspense, but there's enough in there that you get it. It's a steam level of about 2.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah, because I mean, there was some really steamy moments, but there wasn't a lot. It was kind of a slow burn, but there was a lot of animosity between these two.
Lots of like sexual tension. I felt like I was like, just do it already.
Yeah, seriously. So Deacon, he's like super extreme alpha at times. And I love how he is not that typical jaded man who sleeps around like after him and his ex-wife got divorced. Like he's very like career focused and wanted to focus on that.
Yeah, I really like that too. I looked at like how he kind of took his life and made it more like productive. Like he kind of, it wasn't that he wasn't successful, but he definitely was like career driven and like his boss,
Yeah. Well, and it was nice too, because like, yes, this bad thing happened to him. And yes, he used it as like almost like a motivation to do better, but it wasn't like, he didn't let it affect like his decisions. Like it pushed him forward. Like he was not, he didn't look backwards. Like she was done with him. He was done with her and he was okay with that. Like he had a lot of anger and like issues like about his ex-wife, which I mean, you kind of understand, but it wasn't like a driving factor in anything.
Right. Yeah, I agree. I at the beginning, I mean, I always really disliked her, but we'll kind of get to more about her, but
yeah. So let's talk a little bit. Oh, she is something. Let's talk a little bit about Annalise. Like I was surprised, like in the prologue, like you get a little glimpse of her and you feel like she's this really secure one type of person. And then you meet her and she's not really like she was raised a certain way. She was raised with money. Like she goes to galas, she does a lot of fundraising, like things for her parents. She doesn't have a real job for the most part, but she's actually pretty insecure when it comes to relationships and like friendships. And she's very like, she's not needy, but she's not confident in those relationships.
No, and I think I really liked how she I think everyone looks at people with money and they think, oh, they have everything that, they could possibly need. And yes, you can buy things, but you can't buy everything. And so
Mhm.
I think that she does a really good job of like allowing Annalise to kind of evaluate her life and really think
Mhm.
about what is important and what really matters. I
Yeah.
was sort of surprised too at how she lacked confidence in a lot of things.
Mhm.
And I think on the outside, most people thought she was a super confident. Like she exudes confidence, but she doesn't feel it internally.
Because there was a lot of little moments. Like there is something that happens and she kind of loses touch with everybody. And she talks about how nobody has contacted her. Like she
Mm-hmm.
was always the one who was reaching out to them. And she's like, what kind of relationships are these really? Like she almost is like, all of these little things that are happening is making her reevaluate how she lives her life and how she
Right.
looks at her life and the relationships that she has with people out. Because like she has a good relationship with her parents, and the little bits that we got, like they're very supportive, like very
Mm-hmm.
like proud of her, like, but it's the other people in her life that are just
Not great.
selfish.
Yeah, they're not really
No,
great. Mm-mm.
they're not great at all.
Right.
I love the fact that like after everything went down, like Anna really took the time, because I don't want to spoil anything, but she really took the time for herself. Like, yes, she was heartbroken. Yes, like she wanted things to move forward, but she didn't know how he felt.
Right.
But she made the decision to like work from the ground up in her father's company. Like she didn't want him like, because he had said like, if you come and work with me, like we can put you here or here or here. And she's like, no, I want to start at the bottom. I want to work my way up. I want to work for everything I have. And I thought it was interesting when Charles, who you find out who he is at one point, but when he mentions her working with her father, like she makes a point to say she's working for him, not with him.
Right. And then he even says, that's awesome. Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's great, you know? And then, like, he acknowledges, like, her going and working for what she has instead of
Yeah.
being handed everything.
Well,
And
and she's not expecting that handout. Like she realizes, like, because they're pretty young, they're in their 20s. Like,
I think they're 30.
are they
I thought
30s?
they were in their 30s, but maybe I'm wrong.
I thought they were like 27, 28-ish, but
I don't know.
I could
But
be
still,
wrong.
is 30 is really not, I mean,
No,
30 is
it's
not
not.
old.
No, but like even at that point, like she's not expecting those handouts. Like she at any point in the story, like I didn't feel like she was one of those people who expected things to be a certain way. Like, yes, like she was raised this way. So yes, like this is what's expected of me, but she did not expect people to treat her that way.
Right. I think Deacon, so from the get-go, when he gets this call, um, so his ex-wife is Danny, and that's
Mhm.
Annalise's best friend. And Annalise and Danny have been friends forever.
Forever. Hmm.
And Danny and Deacon were married. They were like high school sweethearts. And then he went into the military. And then
Hmm.
she they
Get
she
divorced.
yeah, they got
Yeah.
divorced because of infidelity. Um, and they, you know, Annalise and Deacon just never talked to each other. And so I don't even think Annalise knew that he owned like the security company. She just called
No,
him.
because well, I don't think she did, because when she went into the building and like went up to it, like she stood outside and like just looked at the sign for a while and was like, oh, he owns this. Like I think she knew like he did something along
Mm-hmm.
those lines, but like didn't realize, because like once they got divorced, like she didn't have anything to do with him. But
No.
let's talk about Danny just a little bit.
Oh,
Because she was a terrible person.
she's a terrible
Terrible.
human. I want to say she might be in my top 5 characters I hate the most. Like I know hate is a strong word, but she's an awful like
She is
awful.
awful.
There's
So
not a
awful.
redeeming quality about her.
No, No, there's not. And like she treats Anna like so terribly and is
Mhm.
so selfish. And I just want to be like, why are you friends with this person? But
I know.
there's like this one like moment that they're out
At the
and
gala.
well, when they went for drinks too,
Yes, you're
they
right.
went out for drinks and there is something that happens while they are out for drinks and Annalise finally sees like she's had these feelings back and forth like since everything kind of went down, but she finally like her eyes are open wide like in this moment and it was like, wow, she really is a terrible person. Why is she in my life? And then the gala happens and it just reinforces that. But honestly, like she got it handed to her at that gala.
Yes, she did. And I think Anna is very snarky with the Deacon, but
Mhm.
not with other people. And
Well,
then
and I
right?
almost felt like it was a defense mechanism for her because
Mhm.
she had feelings for him like when they were younger and like she hid it behind the snarkiness and she wasn't able to almost not able to turn that off like even as adults.
Right. And I think she saw how much Deacon loved Danny. And I think it was I don't want to say jealousy, but kind of a jealousy thing where,
Mhm.
she was envious that somebody could care about somebody else.
Somebody
I think
else
she
that
wanted
way.
that for herself, which I think
Mhm.
everyone could understand.
Yeah.
But the things that come out of Danny's mouth, I'm just like, my God, I can't even, I couldn't. I was
I
like,
know.
I hate her. I hate
Yeah.
her. Um, yeah, I agree. And then, so there was this big, I think that this was now after reading, you and I got an arc of the fifth, I think, book in the series,
The
right? And
fifth book, yes. Mhm.
it was so good. So then we're like, oh, we gotta go back. So we started reading the whole series. We read this one, and I think this is super suspenseful compared to some of the other ones.
Mhm. Yeah, it kind of ebbs and flows. Like some of them
Mhm.
have a lot of suspense, some of them don't. But I like you have that underlying suspense in all of them, but it's
Right.
nice because it's not super heavy.
Right.
So,
And this one, she pulls in another group of like another set of characters from another one of her series that they
yes.
need for like a mission or whatever. So I kind of
Yeah.
thought that was really, I liked that a lot, kind of getting to know their
Mhm.
personalities before I jumped into that series because I'm going to.
Yeah. Well, yeah, me too. But
Um,
so
let's see here. We're kind of going out of order here, but
that's okay. We actually have to skip to our questions now.
oh, okay.
That's fine. So did you like this book?
Yes, I did. I really, really liked it. It's a quick read. I felt like Marie James does a really good job. Her characters are super duper likable.
Mhm.
We didn't talk about Puff Daddy, and I feel like we
No.
have to talk about Puff Daddy, or at least just tell somebody. Okay,
So Puff Daddy is a dirty talking parrot.
dirty
Who
talking. He has seriously probably the best lines in the entire series, and I
I
think
think so.
he's so fun to read. I can only imagine how fun he is to write.
Yeah,
Dirty, dirty. He is a dirty bird.
he is a literal dirty bird.
Bird. Yeah. So okay. Yes, I really like this series. Like I said, I read it out of order. I wouldn't recommend doing that. Like I said, this one's free right now, so you might as well just get in there
Start
and
with
buy
number
it.
one.
It's so good. What'd you think, Leah?
Well, and I really liked it too. But again, like since we did start out of order, but you don't lose anything reading them out of order. Like
Mm-mm.
I read book 4 first and then book 5. I had arcs of both of those, and I didn't feel like I had to read book 1, 2, and 3 to understand who the characters were in book 3 and 4.
No,
So they stand alone very well.
I sort of actually liked reading starting at book 5 because you get a little piece of the characters. And
Mhm.
one of the things that I have loved the most about this series is the relationship with all the guys have. Like they all have different
Mhm.
personalities and their banter is on point. I love it.
They do, and you get This is one of those series where you get the guys. Like there's not a lot of interaction with the girls from the past books, but the guys are very like there's a lot of that, a lot of like team stuff. Because I mean they work together, but they all like are constantly talking about how they're always at work.
Yep, I agree.
So who would typically like this book? Excuse me.
I think you had said this too. I think contemporary romance fans, I think if
Definitely.
you like some suspense or a little bit of mystery in your books, this is totally for you. Like I said, it doesn't overwhelm you. And if you're not sure if like suspense or military or whatever is your jam, I would recommend the series just to see if you like it, you know?
Yeah, because it's very suspense light. Like it's suspense, but suspense light. So yeah, I completely agree. Contemporary romance. Like they're not super steamy, so you're good to go there. But
yeah, I would agree.
They're still very good. Would you
Book two
recommend
might be
this
a little
book?
bit more steamy.
I think because you get a lot more Puff Daddy, so it's like there's a lot more dirty.
True. Sorry, what did you ask me?
So would you recommend this book?
Oh, for sure. Totally. I mean, yes, read it. I really like her a lot. Like I said, I bought all the books in the series and I downloaded the Cerberus. I don't want to.
Oh, you did. You already did download the Cerberus. Of course.
Yeah, on Anyplay, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, this is definitely a series I recommend to other people. All right. Well, thank you for joining me for this quick shot of romance.
Anytime.
Happy reading, everybody.
Bye.
Find us on Instagram at buzzingaboutromance or on Twitter at buzzingromance. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. If you'd like to support us directly, join the Bookcase and Coffee Patreon and receive exclusive content only available to Patreon members. Check out bookcaseandcoffee.com for our on-the-shelf show notes.